Hello, this is the Era of Zero YouTube channel. This is Tom, wanting to give my reactions and review of the latest trailer for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the teaser. 2 minutes, 6 seconds. What a fantastic trailer. I am excited. Now, granted, I enjoyed The Man of Steel, and a lot of people I know did not because they thought it was too dark, too hopeless, especially for Superman. That didn't really bother me too much actually in the movie itself, but I think that it's definitely appropriate because they're doing a loose adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, which is a pretty hopeless, dark story for DC, and I think that it's, you know, the trailer gives that sense of conflict and darkness, and I think that it's actually quite appropriate. So let's talk about the trailer itself, which everyone in the world has seen now. Number one is that Batman. So we start off with Superman, and we start off with the voiceovers, and it's very similar to the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, where you have all those talking heads, news shows, and stuff like that. That sounds a little bit like that idea, but you can hear some very unique voices in that voiceover section. So you hear what I think is Charlie Rose talking about how they say, is it surprising that the most powerful man in the world is a source of controversy? And this is to be expected because this is everything that Jonathan Kent had feared in Man of Steel, which is that the world would be so divided and so fearful of the unknown that his son would become a target. So it sounds like some of that is going to be playing out in this movie. You also hear Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about how Superman has changed and challenged our very ideas of the universe. You hear Holly Hunter, who's we understand is playing a senator, talk about how power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. We also hear Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, who talks about how devils don't come from hell below, they come from the sky above. And you kind of, during this montage of voiceover, we are zooming slowly in on a statue, and it looks like it's the memorial in Metropolis to commemorate the deaths of all those people in the destruction of Metropolis. It looks like a memorial, and in the center of the memorial is a statue of Superman, and he's in a very unique pose. Most of the Superman stories have Superman standing kind of in the classic hero pose, standing up with his arms on his hips and everything. This one is Superman kneeling down, and he's got one hand reaching down to the people and another hand reaching up to the heavens, as if it's this idea of very much of a savior, this kind of demigod coming to us and saying, here, come with me, take my hand, and I will lead you to the new promised land. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff, spiritual stuff, religious undertones are in this trailer as well. So but as you hear the voiceovers, there's a slow and subtle chant underneath, and it turns into go home, which you think about Superman as an immigrant, the immigrant from the stars. So there's obviously in today's real world the fear of the unknown. There is still a lot of distrust and bigotry against immigrants, regardless if they're from this country or from a different country or from a different planet now. Very much an issue that is played into this. And you see across the Superman statue in the memorial, spray painted in red, are the words "False God." So that's very interesting, an interesting direction that they're going to go with this. So is Superman... It's going to be clear that in some circles, Superman is considered a hero, and in others, he's considered a villain, terrorist, something not to be trusted. It's going to be interesting to see where Bruce Wayne falls on that eventually, where he starts, where he finishes. Then you hear the voice of Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons, and he says, "That's how it starts. The fear, the fear becoming rage." That turns, and then the feeling of powerlessness, which turns good men cruel. And we don't know if he's talking about the public and their reaction to Superman, or if it's Bruce Wayne in how he's feeling and his reaction to Superman. I don't know, but you see Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. He's got the 5 o'clock shadow. You see a little bit of gray in his temples. He's standing in what we believe is the Batcave. If you look over his shoulder, his right shoulder, it looks like there is actually in the background a hanging suit for Robin. And if you've seen some other spoiler photos or potential spoiler photos, we haven't had any confirmation. It could be Photoshop. It looks like what we've been hearing a lot of rumors about is that the Joker has... The reason Batman quit is because the Joker really took his toll on him and that he needed to retire, and that the Joker probably killed one of the Robins. Now, we know in comics the Joker killed Jason Todd, which is the reason he quit being Batman in The Dark Knight Returns. Most people who aren't sweaty movie nerds like us don't know who Jason Todd is. So they, in the photos, have come out that it looks like Dick Grayson is the one who's been killed. That Dick is the Robin that was murdered by the Joker. And that's whose uniform is hanging in the memorial. Anyway, you see Bruce Wayne standing there staring at his old uniform, at the old Batman uniform. And I think that this is the Batman uniform that is the truest to the comics that we've ever seen. It is, I like the short stubby ears. It looks like his cowl, which originally gives you that look that's very comic booky of the one piece from the ears all the way down to the cape. It looks like that, and it is that, but you can tell that the neck piece and the chin here are disconnected, so that the helmet piece is still very much like Christian Bale's, except that he's got a thick neck and then the cape and cowl, so he should still be able to move his head. So it might be that all of this piece, the shoulder up to the neck, is one piece, and then the helmet sticks on separately so he can still do this. So it's almost like a turtleneck. Anywho, so it looks like he can still be able to move. Ben Affleck looks massive because you see him in the regular cloth, what appears to be a cloth bat suit, and you see him in that, and he just looks, he's taller and bigger than Superman, and Superman looks really big in this movie as well. So you get an idea of how physically nightmarish and imposing this Batman really is. He's got a dark gray, medium gray, dark gray suit with the black bat symbol, and kind of like a dirty, it looks like in some new photos that have been released, that it looks like his utility belt is kind of got a little bit of gold in it, but mainly gray as well. And he's got a black cape, which we've all seen. And then we see him in we see some action shots. We see the Batmobile in action. We see a plane. It could be the Batplane. It could be a drone. It could be whatever. We see we see Superman at one point landing in this like bunker military thing, and these soldiers are kneeling to him as he arrives, and they all have the Superman emblem on their arm patches. So is Superman leading a global team of soldiers to help with world peace across the planet? Is he? I don't think they're going the dictator thing from Injustice: Gods Among Us. I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be that Superman has a global task force that the governments of the world are combining to that he's kind of got a division of soldiers in each country or something like that will support him, or they could be people who are just kind of disciples of Superman who think he's a god, and they're militia or just vigilantes that kind of show up where he does. We don't know, but it looks interesting. It raises questions, which is what a teaser's supposed to do. It's supposed to kind of give you a little taste, not explain everything, not ruin anything. So that's good. Then we see Ben Affleck in the armored bat suit, which is straight out of The Dark Knight Returns. Now we see it in HD. We saw the Comic-Con footage, very blurry, but now this is in HD. You see that it's battle-worn metal, got the white eyes. It looks great. And then I love the Bat voice. I am a big fan of the show Arrow, and I think what they did with the Bat voice is perfect because it is a combination of... One, Ben Affleck doesn't have to worry about trying to create a new voice. They're going to do it through a voice modulator. Whether it's just in the armored bat suit, I think it's going to be in all of his bat suits, because why would you just have it for the armored version? Because you already know it's Batman, so what's the point? I think it's going to be in all of them. I think they're doing a voice modulator like they do on the show Arrow, that he touches and it kind of changes the voice. It doesn't have to be on his throat. It doesn't have to be coming through his mouth. It's just, you can imagine that he's got technology that just does it. But the idea that he can do that, he can talk, he can act in normal, and then they can change it in pose to that sounds menacing, echoing, but you can understand him, which you could not understand Bane, and it's not that growly kind of almost comedic voice that Christian Bale devolved into. So it's going to be a perfect combination of that, and I think it's going to make for a very menacing voice, a very menacing Batman. The other thing that I thought of that would have been cool, they're not going to do it, but I thought, clearly, but would have been really neat, is that if they wanted a voice, instead of doing a voice modulator that would sound too animatronic, I thought that it would be interesting that if Ben Affleck got dubbed actually as Batman and they used Kevin Conroy from the animated series Batman to be the voice, that would have been really cool, but I know that they weren't going to do that because why would you hire someone like Ben Affleck to play Batman if you're not going to use his voice? So it looks really awesome, and the best line of the thing is, "Tell me, do you bleed? You will." And that's Batman talking to Superman. You see Superman land in front of Batman, which is presumably Gotham in the rain. They're going to fight. It's going to be awesome. So I'm very excited. This movie comes out in like 340 some odd days or something like that. So this is going to be a long, long wait. And this was a gigantic weekend for trailers in the last 4 days. We've had Star Wars trailer, Batman trailer, New Jurassic World trailer, Fantastic Four trailer. We've got other movie news that it looks like Hugh Jackman's going to be in Apocalypse for X-Men as well as the Wolverine film. So it looks like he's going to do both of them, and he's going to wear the yellow suit in Apocalypse. That was tweeted out by Fox as a confirmed. So a lot of fun geek movie news coming out here, but those are the initial reactions from the Dark Knight, from the Batman v Superman movie. We still haven't seen a lot of. We didn't see any of the other Justice League characters in this. It was just Batman and Superman. Didn't even see Lois Lane. Didn't see anybody. It's going to be interesting. I have a little bit of a question about whether or not Lois Lane actually survives this movie. There's a little bit of me that thinks that Lois Lane may die. They may kill her. Amy Adams has said that she only had one scene with Ben Affleck in the whole film. You've only seen Amy Adams from street footage and everything. And I know that doesn't mean a whole lot, but we've only seen her in one outfit, which means either this, and this film looks like it takes longer than a couple of days like The Man of Steel did, because The Man of Steel took place over 4 or 5 days. I think Batman v Superman is going to take a longer period of time, but we've only seen Amy Adams in one outfit and stills and stuff like that out on the streets. So, there's a question about whether she survives. I mean, some people did not like Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I did. If they go New 52 and Superman's actually with Wonder Woman instead of Lois Lane, that could be something that goes on. It could be something that Lois is killed by somebody, some other alien or some other villain of some kind, and either Batman or Superman are framed for it, which is part of how they come into conflict with one another. There's the storyline that Lois Lane is actually dating Bruce Wayne. There's that, but I don't think they're going to go down that road. But I would be interested to see if Lois Lane survives this movie or if she has a very long or big part in this movie. Because it does seem like, although everyone's saying it's a Superman movie, I don't see a lot of Lois Lane in this. So far, I haven't heard a lot about her part in this. So I'm not entirely sure if Lois survives. Anywho, love to hear what you think. Agree, disagree, like the trailer, hate the trailer. Got questions about it. I think that obviously, if you want to learn more about this movie, kind of know what direction they're heading, you need to do two things, which is watch Man of Steel on Blu-ray, as well as go either read the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, all 4 books, or you could watch the 2-part video cartoon animated version, which is fantastic. The voice of the original RoboCop plays Batman, Peter Weller. Very, very well done. Very graphic as far as a graphic novel. A very good adaptation of that. You'll get a kind of an idea, taste, a flavor of where they're heading. Anywho, until next time, this is the Era Zero YouTube channel, and this is Tom saying bye-bye.